Admiral Lee Taman stood on the bridge of the UES Harmony, watching the stars through the wide viewing window. The ship moved slowly through space, carrying diplomats to another peace meeting. For 50 years, humans had helped solve conflicts between alien races. They talked instead of fighting. They built bridges instead of walls. "Sir, we're getting a message from New Busan Colony," said Captain Park Minji. She was young but smart, one of the best officers in the human defense fleet. Her voice sounded worried. Lee Taman turned around. "Put it through." The screen showed nothing but static at first. Then a voice came through, broken and full of fear. This is Director Kim Hyunwoo on New Busan. We're under attack. The Vorthak ships came without warning. They're not just destroying buildings. They're killing everyone." The connection went dead. Lee Taman felt his heart sink. The Vorthak Empire had been causing trouble for months. They attacked small colonies and took supplies, but they had never killed civilians before. Humans always tried to solve these problems with words, not weapons. "Get me the Galactic Coalition immediately," Lee Taman ordered. Park Minji worked at her controls. "Sir, I have Ambassador Kang Doha on the line. She's at the Coalition headquarters." The screen showed a woman with tired eyes. Ambassador Kang Doha had spent 20 years trying to keep peace in the galaxy. "Admiral Lee, I heard about New Busan. I'm already talking to the Coalition leaders." "What are they saying?" Lee Taman asked. "They want to send investigators first. They say we need proof before taking action." Lee Taman closed his eyes. The same old story. Talk and wait while people died. How long will that take? "Maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Park Minji said loudly. "People are dying right now." Ambassador Kang looked sad. "I know. But the Coalition moves slowly. They don't want to start a war." 3 hours later, another message came from New Busan. This time it was video. Lee Taman watched in horror as Vorthak soldiers walked through the colony streets. They shot anyone they saw. Men, women, children. It didn't matter to them. Director Kim Hyunwoo appeared on screen, his face bloody. "They're not taking prisoners. They're not even taking supplies. They're just killing everyone. Please, someone help us." The video cut to black. Park Minji stared at the screen. "Sir, we have to do something." Lee Taman nodded. "Send a message to all human ships in the area. Tell them to move toward New Busan as fast as they can. The Coalition told us not to send military ships without permission." Park Minji said. "I don't care what they said. By the time human ships reached New Busan, it was too late. The colony was empty. Every building was destroyed. Every person was dead. 2,300,000 humans had lived there. Now there were only bodies and broken dreams." Lee Taman walked through the ruined streets with his officers. The air smelled of smoke and death. Children's toys lay scattered on the ground next to their owners. The Vorthak had killed everyone, even the babies. "Why?" Park Minji asked. "Why did they do this?" Lee Taman picked up a small doll from the ground. It belonged to a little girl who would never play again. "Because they could. Because they think we're weak." 3 days later, Lee Taman sat in the Coalition meeting room. Representatives from dozens of alien species filled the large hall. They all looked serious, but Lee Taman knew most of them didn't really care about human deaths. The Coalition leader, a tall alien with blue skin, spoke first. "We are here to discuss the incident at New Busan Colony." "Incident?" Lee Taman stood up. "You call the murder of 2 million people an incident?" "Admiral Lee, please sit down. We must follow proper procedures. Your procedures are worthless. While you talk, humans die." Another alien, this one with green scales, spoke up. "The Vorthak Empire says they were defending themselves. They claimed the humans attacked first." Lee Taman laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Defending themselves? Against families and children?" "We need more investigation," the blue alien said. "We cannot act without complete proof. I have video recordings of the massacre. Video can be faked. We need physical evidence." Lee Taman looked around the room. He saw the same thing he always saw. Aliens who talked but never acted. Aliens who cared more about rules than lives. "How much proof do you need?" he asked. "How many humans have to die before you care?" The Coalition leader looked uncomfortable. "Admiral Lee, humans have always been the peaceful ones. You solve problems with words, not weapons. That's why we value you in the Coalition. Maybe we've been too peaceful. Violence is not the answer. It never is." Lee Taman walked to the center of the room. Every alien eye was on him. "For 50 years, we've helped you solve your problems. We've stopped wars and saved lives. We believed in your system of justice and peace." He paused and looked at each alien representative. "But your system failed us. When we needed help, you gave us paperwork. When we needed justice, you gave us committees." The blue alien tried to speak, but Lee Taman held up his hand. "Humanity is withdrawing from all defense agreements with the Coalition. We will no longer help solve your conflicts. We will no longer trust your promises of protection." The room exploded in angry voices. Aliens shouted in dozens of languages. They were scared. For 50 years, humans had been their problem solvers. Now they were alone. "You cannot do this," the Coalition leader said. "The galaxy needs human diplomacy." "The galaxy should have thought about that before letting our people die." Lee Taman walked toward the door. Park Minji and the other human officers followed him. "What will you do now?" the green alien called out. Lee Taman stopped at the door and turned around. His face was hard and cold. "We're going to remind the galaxy that peace was our choice, not our weakness." As the humans left, the alien representatives sat in worried silence. For the first time in 50 years, they would have to solve their own problems. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the Vorthak Empire had no idea what was coming for them. The age of human patience was over. General Choi Wanbin sat in his underground office deep beneath the Earth's surface. The room was filled with screens showing star maps and ship movements. He had been waiting for this day for 30 years. The day when humanity would stop pretending to be weak. His assistant, Dr. Shin Yuna, entered the room carrying a datapad. She was the smartest weapons designer in human space, but most aliens had never heard of her. That was exactly how they wanted it. "General, Admiral Lee's message just came through," she said. "He's officially withdrawn us from the Coalition." Choi Wanbin nodded. "Then it's time. Activate Protocol 7. Dr. Shin Yuna smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Finally. I'll send the signal now." Across human space, secret facilities began to wake up. For 50 years, humans had built these hidden bases while pretending to be peaceful farmers and traders. The galaxy thought humans were soft because that's what humans wanted them to think. On the moon of Europa, massive doors opened for the first time in decades. Inside, thousands of warships waited in the darkness. They were not like the small defense ships the galaxy had seen. These were built for war. Ambassador Kang Doha watched the news reports from her office. Alien news channels were talking about humanity's withdrawal from the Coalition. Most aliens seemed happy about it. "Good," said one alien reporter. "Humans were always too soft anyway. Maybe now they'll stay on their little planets and leave real politics to stronger species." Another alien laughed. "What can humans do? They don't even have a real military. They'll hide and cry while the Vorthak take more colonies." Kang Doha turned off the news. These aliens had no idea what was coming. She had been a diplomat for 20 years, but before that, she had been a soldier. She knew the truth about human military power. Her communication device beeped. It was General Choi Wanbin. "Ambassador, how are our alien friends reacting?" he asked. "They think we're weak and scared. They expect us to hide." "Perfect, Dr. Shin, show her Project Thunderbolt." Dr. Shin Yuna appeared on the screen. Behind her, Kang Doha could see scientists working on something large and metal. "Ambassador, meet humanity's little secret," Dr. Shin said. "These are quantum cannons. One shot can destroy a ship 10 times larger than anything the Vorthak have." Kang Doha stared at the weapon. "How long have you been building these?" 40 years. We've been very busy while everyone thought we were just growing crops and making art." General Choi Wanbin leaned forward. "Ambassador, I need you to send one final message to the Vorthak Empire. Tell them they have 48 hours to surrender for their crimes against humanity." "They'll laugh at us," Kang Doha said. "I'm counting on it." 2 days later, the Vorthak Empire's response came. Their war leader, a massive creature with sharp teeth and cruel eyes, appeared on every communication channel in the galaxy. "Weak humans threaten the mighty Vorthak?" He laughed. "We do not surrender to farmers and poets. We will take more human colonies. We will take Earth itself. There is nothing humans can do to stop us." The alien news channels loved it. They played the message over and over, making jokes about human weakness. But Admiral Lee Taman was not laughing. He stood on the bridge of a ship that no alien had ever seen. The UES Vengeance was 5 times larger than any known human vessel. Around him, hundreds of similar ships moved through space like deadly shadows. "Sir, all fleets are in position," reported Captain Nam Soyoung. She commanded the fighter squadrons that would lead the attack. Her pilots had trained in secret for years, learning techniques that would surprise any alien who saw them. "Commander Oh Jinwoo, are your special forces ready?" Lee Taemin asked. A man in black armor appeared on the screen. Behind him, soldiers prepared weapons that looked nothing like the simple tools humans usually carried. "Ready, sir. My teams are already inside Vorthak space. They've been watching and waiting." Lee Taemin nodded. "Dr. Shin, are the new weapons online?" "All systems ready, Admiral. The Vorthak ships won't know what hit them." Fleet Admiral Yu Jihan joined the conversation from his flagship. "Admiral Lee, the first strike fleet is moving into position. We'll hit them exactly as planned." Lee Taemin looked at the star map showing Vorthak space. Red dots marked 47 military bases and fleets. In a few hours, all of them would be gone. "Gentlemen, ladies, for 50 years we've shown the galaxy our peaceful side. Today they meet our other face." He paused, thinking of the children who died on New Busan. The Vorthak wanted to see what humans can do. "Let's show them." Across human space, families gathered around communication screens. They knew their sons and daughters were about to go to war. But these were not normal families. These were the families of soldiers who had trained in secret their whole lives. On Earth, President Han Minho spoke to the human people. "My fellow humans, for generations we have chosen peace over war. We have helped others instead of helping ourselves. We have been kind when others were cruel." His voice grew stronger. "But kindness is not weakness. Peace is not surrender. Today we show the galaxy that humans are dangerous when we choose to be." In the Vorthak Empire, war leader Vorthak laughed with his officers. They were planning their next attack on human colonies. They had no idea that human ships were already surrounding their worlds. "Humans are like small animals," Vorthak said. "They make noise when scared, but they cannot bite." His communication officer interrupted. "War leader, we're getting strange readings on our sensors. Ships are appearing around our outer bases." "What kind of ships?" "Unknown design, sir. They're not like anything in our databases." Vorthak looked at the sensor readings. Hundreds of ships had appeared from nowhere. They were moving fast and avoiding detection until now. "Are they human ships?" "Impossible, sir. Humans don't have ships like this." Vorthak stared at the screen. Deep in his mind, a small voice whispered that maybe they had made a mistake. Maybe humans were not as weak as they seemed. But it was too late for doubt. The human fleets were already moving. Admiral Lee Taemin looked at his officers one last time. "Begin the attack." In the darkness of space, humanity's true face finally showed itself, and the galaxy would never be the same. Fleet Admiral Yu Jihan watched the clock on his command screen. In 30 seconds, the war would begin. Around him, his officers worked quietly at their stations. They had trained for this moment their entire lives. "All ships report ready," said his communications. "Officer, fighter squadrons in position," reported Captain Nam So-young from her ship. "Special Forces teams confirm targets acquired," added Commander Oh Jinwoo. Yu Jihan looked at the tactical display. 47 red dots showed Vorthak military bases and fleets. Soon they would all be gone. 10 seconds, he announced. The Vorthak had no idea what was coming. Their sensors could not detect human ships until it was too late. For 50 years, humans had shared their peaceful technology with the galaxy, but they had kept their military secrets hidden. Time. Across Vorthak space, human ships appeared from nowhere. They came out of hyperspace using technology that made them invisible until the last moment. The Vorthak had never seen anything like it. At Vorthak Military Base 7, alarms started screaming. The base commander, General Vorthak Ka, ran to his control room. "What's happening?" he shouted. "Ships, sir. Hundreds of them. They just appeared around our base." General Vorthak Ka looked at the screens. Human ships surrounded his base in perfect formation. They were larger and more advanced than anything humans were supposed to have. "Impossible. Humans don't have a real military." "Sir, they're targeting our weapon systems. All ships open fire," General Vorthak Ka ordered. The Vorthak ships began shooting, but something was wrong. Their weapons hit the human ships but did no damage. The human ships had shields that absorbed every attack. Then the humans fired back. Dr. Shin Yuna's quantum cannons lit up space with deadly light. Each shot destroyed a Vorthak ship completely. No explosion, no debris. The ships simply disappeared. "What kind of weapons are those?" General Vorthak Ka whispered. His question was answered when a quantum cannon targeted his command center. The last thing he saw was a bright flash of light. Captain Nam So-young led her fighter squadron against the Vorthak fleet at Base 12. Her pilots flew ships that moved faster than anything the Vorthak had ever seen. Wraith Squadron, begin attack pattern Alpha, she ordered. Her fighters split up and attacked from all directions at once. The Vorthak pilots tried to follow them, but human ships were too fast and too smart. How are they moving like that? Asked a confused Vorthak pilot before Nam So-young's quantum missiles destroyed his ship. The human fighters danced through space like deadly artists. They hit every target perfectly while avoiding all enemy fire. It was not luck. It was pure skill. At Vorthak Fleet Base 1, Admiral Vorthak Zhu watched his ships disappear one by one. The humans were not just winning. They were destroying everything without losing a single ship. Send a message to the war leader, he ordered. Tell him we need help. The humans are not what we thought. But Commander Oh Jinwoo's special forces had already taken control of the communication systems. The Vorthak could not call for help. They could only watch as their military power crumbled. Sir, human soldiers are inside our base, reported a Vorthak officer. They appeared from nowhere. Admiral Vorthak Zhu grabbed his weapon. How many? Unknown, sir. They're using some kind of invisibility technology. Oh Jinwoo and his team moved through the Vorthak base like ghosts. Their armor made them nearly invisible. Their weapons were silent and deadly. The Vorthak never saw them coming. Target the main computer, Oh Jinwoo whispered to his team. We need their fleet codes. Within minutes, they had complete control of the base. The Vorthak ships could not even start their engines anymore. Back on the UES Vengeance, Admiral Lee Taman watched the battle reports. Everything was going exactly as planned. Sir, we've destroyed 60% of their frontier fleet, reported Captain Park Minji. No human casualties. Enemy response? Confused and disorganized. They're trying to regroup, but we're hitting them faster than they can think. Lee Taman nodded. Continue the attack. I want their entire military structure gone by tomorrow. In the Galactic Coalition headquarters, emergency alarms were ringing. Alien representatives ran through the halls in panic. The humans were supposed to be weak farmers and artists. This was impossible. Get me a connection to the human fleet, ordered the coalition leader. Sir, they're not answering our calls, said his assistant. Keep trying. We need to stop this before it gets worse. But the coalition leader did not understand. It was already worse than anything he could imagine. The humans were not just fighting back. They were winning so easily that it looked like a training exercise. War leader Vorthak sat in his throne room, staring at the tactical displays. Half of his military bases were gone. His best fleets were destroyed. And the humans had been fighting for only 6 hours. How? He whispered. How do the weak humans have such power? His military advisor looked terrified. War leader, perhaps we should consider surrender. Never. Vorthak roared. We are the strongest species in the galaxy. We do not surrender to anyone. But even as he spoke, more red dots disappeared from his display. Human ships were moving through Vorthak space like a deadly storm, destroying everything in their path. On Earth, humans watched the news reports with quiet satisfaction. For 50 years, they had been patient and peaceful. They had helped others and asked for nothing in return. But when aliens killed their children, patience was no longer enough. Dr. Shin Yuna monitored her weapons from her secret laboratory. The quantum cannons were working perfectly. Each shot was precise and devastating. There would be no accidental civilian casualties. Humans fought with honor, even in war. General Choi, the weapons are performing better than expected, she reported. Good. Make sure we only hit military targets. We're not monsters like the Vorthak. As the first day of war ended, the Vorthak Empire had lost most of its fleet. Human ships controlled key points throughout Vorthak space. And still, not a single human ship had been destroyed. Fleet Admiral Yu Jihan looked at the final reports. 18 hours of combat. Vorthak military effectiveness reduced by 70%. Human losses, 0. He paused and thought about the children who died on New Busan. Tomorrow we finish this. Across the galaxy, alien species watched the news in shock. The peaceful humans had become the most dangerous military force anyone had ever seen. And they had done it in less than 1 day. In his palace, war leader Vorthak finally understood the truth. Humans had never been weak. They had simply chosen to be peaceful. But when that choice was taken away, they became something far worse than any alien nightmare. The storm had only just begun. On the second day of war, the galaxy discovered the true size of humanity's military. What they had seen on day one was just the beginning. As more human fleets appeared from hidden bases, alien leaders realized their terrible mistake. Field Marshal Lim Jae-sung stood on the bridge of the transport ship Earth's Fury. Behind him, 100,000 human soldiers prepared for ground assault. These were not the peaceful farmers and artists the galaxy knew. These were professional warriors trained in secret for decades. "Sir, we're approaching Vorthak Prime," reported his aide. "The orbital defenses are still active." Lim Jae-sung smiled. "Not for long. Captain Bae Yoonji, are your bombardment ships ready?" On her command ship, Captain Bae Yoonji checked her targeting systems. Her job was to destroy military targets without harming civilians. Human weapons could do that with perfect accuracy. "Ready, Field Marshal. I have locks on all military installations. Civilian areas are marked safe. Begin orbital bombardment." The sky above Vorthak Prime lit up with precise strikes. Each beam of energy hit exactly where it was supposed to. Military bases, weapon factories, and fleet yards disappeared in flashes of light. But the civilian cities remained untouched. War leader Vorthak watched from his bunker as his planet's defenses crumbled. "How can they be so accurate? Our own weapons cannot target that precisely." His advisor looked pale. "Sir, intelligence reports say human technology is far beyond anything we imagined. We've been fighting children with adult weapons." Admiral Young Hyuk coordinated the attack from his flagship. He was humanity's best strategic mind, and he had planned this war down to the smallest detail. Every move was calculated. Every target was chosen for maximum effect. "Fleet Group Alpha, move to secure the outer planets," he ordered. "Fleet Group Beta, begin encirclement of the home system. Fleet Group Gamma, prepare for deep strike operations." The Vorthak tried to fight back, but it was hopeless. Human ships appeared everywhere at once. They moved faster, hit harder, and coordinated better than anything the Vorthak had ever faced. On day 3, the Galactic Coalition finally managed to contact the human fleet. "Admiral Lee, this is Coalition Leader Altheus. You must stop this attack immediately." Lee Taman appeared on the screen, his face cold and hard. "Coalition Leader, where were you when human children were being murdered?" "We were investigating the situation." "Your investigation took too long. Now we handle our own justice." "Please, Admiral. The Vorthak are asking for our help. They want to negotiate." Lee Taman laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Now they want to negotiate? After killing 2 million innocent people? Violence will not solve anything." "Coalition Leader, you're wrong. Violence solved everything. In 3 days, we've accomplished more than your diplomats did in 50 years. Other alien species began to panic. If humans could destroy the Vorthak Empire so easily, what could they do to anyone else?" The Krellian ambassador sent an urgent message to Earth. "President Han Minho, the Krellian Republic wishes to express our support for human actions. We always considered humans our friends." President Han Minho read similar messages from dozens of species. Everyone wanted to be humanity's friend now that they knew the truth. "Interesting," he said to his advisor. "Yesterday we were weak farmers. Today we're everyone's best friends." On Vorthak Prime, Field Marshal Lim Jae-sung's soldiers moved through the capital city. The Vorthak military had collapsed completely. Soldiers surrendered without fighting. Officers hid in their bunkers and hoped the humans would show mercy. "Sir, we've secured the government district," reported Colonel Yoon Tae-hyun. "The Vorthak leadership is asking to surrender. Tell them they can surrender when every human colony is restored and every war criminal is in custody." "Sir, that's impossible. The colonies are destroyed and most of their leaders are dead." Lim Jae-sung's face was stone. "Then they have a problem." Captain Bae Yoonji continued her precise bombardment. Every military target on the planet was being systematically destroyed. But not one civilian building was damaged. "Target the orbital shipyards," she ordered. "Make sure nothing military survives." Her weapons officer hesitated. "Ma'am, there might be civilian workers in those facilities. I have detailed scans. The facilities are empty. The Vorthak evacuated them yesterday." The orbital shipyards exploded in silent flashes. 50 years of Vorthak military construction disappeared in minutes. On day 4, the Vorthak home system was completely surrounded. Admiral Young Hyuk had positioned his fleets to control every planet, every moon, and every space station. "Sir, we have complete control," reported his tactical officer. "Nothing moves without our permission." "Good. Begin the systematic dismantling of their infrastructure." The humans began taking apart the Vorthak war machine piece by piece. Every weapons factory was destroyed. Every military academy was closed. Every warship was captured or destroyed. But they did something else too. Human medical ships arrived to help Vorthak civilians. Human engineers began repairing power plants and water systems. The humans were conquering and helping at the same time. War leader Vorthak watched it all from his bunker. I don't understand. Why are they helping our people while destroying our military? His advisor had been studying human behavior. Sir, I think they want to show us the difference between military targets and innocent people. Something we failed to understand. On day 5, the Vorthak government began to collapse. Military officers deserted their posts. Politicians fled to other star systems. The empire that had ruled through fear for centuries crumbled in less than a week. Sir, the Vorthak Senate is asking for unconditional surrender, reported Captain Park Minji. Admiral Lee Taman considered this. Tell them we'll accept their surrender when every person responsible for the new Busan massacre is in our custody. Sir, most of those people are already dead. Then they should have thought about that before they started killing our families. The alien news networks were full of shock and fear. Military experts tried to explain how humans had hidden such massive power for so long. The peaceful facade was perfect, said one alien analyst. Humans let us think they were weak while building the most advanced military in galactic history. Another expert disagreed. I don't think it was a facade. I think humans really were peaceful. But when you kill their children, they become something else entirely. President Han Minho addressed the human people on day 5. My fellow humans, in 5 days we have shown the galaxy our true strength. But we have also shown them our mercy. We destroy only military targets. We help civilians even as we defeat their armies. This is what makes us human. He paused and looked directly into the camera. The war will end tomorrow. But the galaxy will remember this week forever. They will remember that humans choose peace, but we can choose war too. And when we choose war, we are very, very good at it. War leader Vorthak sat alone in his bunker, all his advisors having fled or surrendered. His empire was gone. His military was destroyed. His people were under human protection. Tomorrow he would have to face the humans and answer for his crimes. Tonight he finally understood the mistake he had made. Humans were not weak. They were the most dangerous species in the galaxy. They had just been kind enough to let everyone else forget that fact, until now. On the 6th day, exactly 144 hours after the war began, it ended. War leader Vorthak walked out of his bunker, with his hands raised in surrender. Around him, human soldiers waited with weapons ready but pointed down. They had won and they knew it. Field Marshal Lim Jae-sung met him at the entrance. The Vorthak leader was twice as tall as any human, with sharp teeth and claws that had terrified the galaxy for centuries. But now he looked small and defeated. I surrender unconditionally, Vorthak said in broken human language. Please show mercy to my people. Lim Jae-sung looked at the alien who had ordered the death of millions of humans. Your people will be treated fairly. You will be tried for war crimes, I understand, do you? Do you really understand what you did? Vorthak lowered his massive head. I killed innocents. I thought humans were weak. I was wrong about everything. President Han Minho stood before the Galactic Coalition Assembly. The same aliens who had ignored human pleas for help now listened to every word with complete attention. Fellow members of the galactic community, he began. 6 days ago, the Vorthak Empire murdered 2 million human civilians. Today, the Vorthak Empire no longer exists as a military power. The alien representatives sat in uncomfortable silence. They had seen the reports. In 6 days, humans had completely destroyed an empire that had threatened the galaxy for decades. Some of you are afraid, President Han continued. You think humans will now become conquerors like the Vorthak. You are wrong. He paused and looked around the room. Humans choose peace. We always have. But peace must be a choice for everyone or it means nothing. Coalition leader Altheus stood up nervously. President Han, what are humanity's demands? Simple. New laws protecting civilian populations in all conflicts. Any species that targets non-combatants will face the same fate as the Vorthak Empire. The room erupted in worried whispers. Aliens who had never cared about civilian casualties suddenly found the topic very interesting. Admiral Lee Taman was promoted to Supreme Commander of Human Forces and given a permanent seat on the Coalition High Command. It was the first time any species had demanded such a position, but no one dared refuse. "Admiral, excuse me, Supreme Commander Lee," said the coalition leader. "What will humanity do with the former Vorthak territory?" Lee Taman smiled for the first time in weeks. "We will help the Vorthak people rebuild. We will establish colonies in their space, and we will make sure no one ever again thinks humans are easy targets." Director Seo Jiho arrived in the former Vorthak territory with the first wave of human colonists. His job was to help both species learn to live together. "The Vorthak civilians are not our enemies," he announced to the human settlers. "They were victims of their government just like we were. We will treat them with respect and fairness. It was not easy. Many humans wanted revenge for New Busan. Many Vorthak feared human cruelty. But slowly, carefully, the two species began to work together." Dr. Shin Yuna returned to her laboratory to continue weapons research. But now she had a new job too. Alien scientists wanted to understand human technology. Some wanted to copy it. Others wanted to make sure they never faced it in battle. "How did you hide such advanced weapons for so long?" asked a Krellian scientist. Dr. Shin smiled. "We learned from history. The most dangerous predator is the one that looks harmless." The galaxy began to change. Species that had threatened each other for centuries suddenly found peaceful solutions to their conflicts. No one wanted to be the next target of human justice. Captain Nam So Young became the commander of the new human rapid response fleet. Her job was to stop conflicts before they became wars. Any species considering military action against civilians should remember the Vorthak Empire, she warned during a patrol near the Zeltan border dispute. "We are watching. We are always watching." The Zeltan ships immediately returned to their home space. The dispute was resolved through negotiation within hours. General Choi Wonbin was asked to address the Coalition Military Academy. Young officers from dozens of species wanted to understand human military doctrine. "The secret is not our weapons," he told them. "The secret is our patience. We watch, we learn, we prepare, and when we finally act, we act completely." A young alien officer raised his hand. "General, will humans share their military technology with allied species?" Choi Wonbin considered the question. "We will share defensive technology with peaceful species, but our offensive capabilities remain human secrets. The galaxy is safer that way." The Vorthak trials began 3 months after the war ended. War leader Vorthak and his officers faced human judges for their crimes. The proceedings were broadcast across the galaxy. "You stand accused of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against sentient beings," announced Judge Park Seonghwa. "How do you plead?" "Guilty," Vorthak said quietly. "I am guilty of all charges." The galaxy watched as the former tyrant accepted responsibility for his actions. Many aliens had never seen a war criminal actually face justice before. 1 year later, President Han Minho gave a speech on the anniversary of the New Busan massacre. "We remember our dead," he said. "We remember the price of peace. And we remember that strength without mercy is tyranny, but mercy without strength is meaningless." The memorial on New Busan was rebuilt exactly as it had been before the attack, but now it was surrounded by both human and Vorthak families paying their respects together. Admiral Lee Taman, now Supreme Commander, established the Human Peacekeeping Force. Unlike the old coalition forces, these ships had the power to actually stop conflicts. "We will not be diplomats," he told his officers. "We will be guardians. When someone threatens innocent people, we will be there." The galaxy had learned its lesson. In the 5 years following the 6-Day War, there were no major conflicts. No one dared to test human patience again. But sometimes, late at night in alien military academies, young officers would ask their instructors about the humans. Are they really as dangerous as the stories say? The instructors would think about the Vorthak Empire. An entire military force destroyed in 6 days. A galactic power reduced to rubble while its civilians were protected and fed. More dangerous, they would whisper, because they choose when to be dangerous, and you never know when you might cross the line. In human space, children played in parks and went to school just like always. They learned about art and science and peace. But they also learned about the week when humanity's patience finally ended. And in the darkness between the stars, human ships waited and watched. They hoped for peace, prepared for war, and made sure the galaxy never forgot the lesson of the 6-Day War. Humanity's true strength was not their weapons or their fleets. It was their choice to be peaceful. And everyone knew that choice could be changed. The galaxy was safer because of that knowledge, and humanity was finally respected as they deserved to be. The age of human patience had ended. The age of human vigilance had begun.